Hey, it's Jeff again with the Valhalla Ventures, reiguideservice.com, reiguideservice.com. So I am driving again, as you can see, so my attention will not be being paid to the camera, but to the drive ahead. I do have a little microphone thing that I bought a long time ago. Thought I'd try it out, see if it helps. Anyway. Wanted to talk about deal analysis and why I had a really hard time, and why I think probably a lot of contractors and whatnot have a really hard time with working with investors or working on investment properties. And the reason is because there's a huge disconnect between multiple aspects, which really sets up a false expectation. This is one of the worst roads. I've done other videos on this road and it's horrible. Does my head look good? Did I have to start over? No, I'm all right. But the problem would be is that, you know, you have these investor groups and gurus and all this that are constantly talking about, and not all of them, but a large majority of them are talking about how cheap you can get it done, and there's just this mindset to get the best deal, which always means, you know, the cheapest deal, the cheapest price per square foot, and, you know, get little extras squeezed in, and you know, it's always been frustrating because as a person that is a contractor and who deals with these investment properties, what a lot of times, what we're not understanding is that investors are buying these properties, and there's a good chance that if you're buying it as a wholesale or whatever, you're gonna downplay, or they are gonna downplay, or in general, the costs and repairs are gonna be downplayed. And when the cost of repairs are downplayed, what happens is everybody just thinks, oh well, you know what? That's not, you know, the contractors tell me $30,000, but a lot of this stuff I could do myself, and so I'll save all that on labor. And so they're just setting up the job for failure because they're not respecting the professionals that are the trades that do that work. Now, I'm not saying you have to hire the most expensive, you know, people in the world, but if you think about it, brand new homes, one of the most expensive home you can buy, are put together by builders that usually hire some of the cheapest labor that you can buy, that you can get. So if you have brand new homes being worth the most using the cheapest labor, a lot of people think, well, that equates to I can just, you know, hire cheap labor to work on my stuff. Well, look, those builders don't have to own that. Okay, so most builders, you know, there's some exceptions with some bigger builders' names, but most builders are in the business of going in, building some stuff in a neighborhood, and getting out. They don't have the quality checks. I do inspections on these things for private individuals. There's no builders hiring me to do inspections on their jobs to make sure that their trades are charging them appropriately for what they're getting, and that their trades are doing quality framing and foundation, and that the lumber isn't ripping apart. And listen, the reality of it is that there are ways that you can hire cheap labor in some areas that it doesn't really matter too much. But even like on a fence, right? If you're gonna build a fence and you build this fence, you can go buy all the expensive materials, and if you have cheap labor that doesn't really know what they're doing, or they do and don't care, and they don't put concrete in any of the posts, even though you provided it, they just return all that, get the money back for it, and they don't put concrete in each post. And you know, you bought screws, but they got a nail gun and some leftover nails from another job they did, so they're just going to use that and take those screws back also. And the nails they're using aren't galvanized or made for outside, so they're going to rust and fall apart. Like, you get the point. Is you got to understand that your brand is the end product that you provide, just like a builder or anybody else. And I guess there's some people that don't care, but to me, there's no difference between someone who chooses to do a half-ass shitty flip that they know is half-assed and they know is shitty and they know there's going to be problems that they've covered up, but they go ahead and sell it anyway, that's worse than being a slumlord. You know, and there's a lot of slumlords, but there's a lot of people that are just flat out selfish and buy a property because they think it was going to be $20,000 to fix it. And they didn't do any research at all, zero. Someone told them that. They didn't want to have to actually do the work to find a deal on their own, so they just went ahead and bought it. Now they got to spend $30,000 or $40,000 fixing it because that's what it really takes to fix it. Plus, they're doing some of the work on their own. Plus, their holding costs went up by, you know, $4,500 at $1,500 a month for 3 months because, you know, with additional work comes additional time to get that work done. And all along, if they would have just had a professional analysis done on their property, if they would have had a pro walk through with them and say, hey, look, this is what you have, this is the materials you should use, this is the amount of labor it should cost you, and this is what all that should cost. Whether you're hiring that person as a contractor or if you're hiring that person to do deal analysis, real estate analysis, and that's what I do. I go in and I give people realistic expectations and say, look, can you get it done cheaper? Yes. But should you base a deal on can you get it done cheaper? No. That's the thing is you got to understand you squeeze here, it elevates here. You squeeze here, it elevates here. You have to be willing to understand that, like myself personally, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I used to be a general contractor. So whenever I get a job now that I'm going to be working on for myself, I put those fees of a general contractor in there to decide if I'm doing the deal or not. Because if I'm going to act like the general contractor, I want to get paid like a general contractor also, on top of being paid like an investor. I'm doing both jobs. I'm not the investor just putting up all the money, sitting back at the house doing nothing. If I am, well then cool, I got to have the money to pay for a GC. If I decide on a job, hey, I don't want to be the GC, I'm just going to hire some other GC, I got the money to do that. And it doesn't break my deal. It doesn't cut my bottom dollar. And being able to honestly and realistically do deal analysis is important. And that's why a lot of the bigger investor guru types don't really dig into the details so much because they don't talk about that squeeze where if you want to save money, if you want to cut your expenses, you're going to increase the amount of time that you're investing. It's just, it's how it goes. And this squeeze is going to, you know, and not only increase here, but it's also going to decrease the potential profit. I mean, if you have a property that you just say, screw it, I'm going to get a cheap paint job quick done on it, and there's overspray and the cut-ins aren't done well and it looks like shit, you're going to get less money for it. So sure, you saved money, but you didn't inflate the actual reward. So I think that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, they don't consider, and they get real emotional. Like you say, hey, it's going to be $30,000, and they say, no, I can get this done for 20. I've flipped houses and I've done this. Well, cool. I could get it done for 15. If I went in there and physically did all the work, I own all the tools. You know what I mean? Like, if I bought used materials and really scavenged and went through Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, I could probably get most of the materials for almost nothing and make it almost all profit. So, like, how much work do you want to do? And if you're not willing to have that conversation, if you're not willing to be real about your analysis on your property, that's why you need to have someone that, you know, the only real advantage I would say that I offer over a qualified general contractor, like a really good general contractor that knows their codes, knows, you know, how to do things at different levels and really understands how to give you a good product with good labor, good material, but without like way overcharging you, and they see the advantage of the volume, but you're still paying them enough that, you know, they're not really losing by losing out on doing other jobs. Because you can only do so many jobs as a general contractor, and that's another misnomer is people think, well, you know, he has 6 high-end jobs going in over there, then that means that he can afford to do one for a little bit cheaper for me over here. No, it means that he could be doing 7 high-end jobs over there, but instead, and if you're hiring people that need work, they have more crews and more whatever than they have work available to them, then there's something probably wrong there too. Because, you know, good general contractors are busy and they are good. They typically will build their crews as necessary and overwork their crews a little before they underwork their crews a little. But anyway, I digress. Doing a really honest analysis on your property is important. It's not going to be as easy as the gurus want to tell you. There's a lot of other stuff that comes with it. And sure, when you get to a certain point, when you get to a certain level and you're not the one having to go find those used materials because you have someone working for you full time that is out there hustling to find materials for you. If you have, you know, someone out there full time driving for dollars for you, if you can afford that off the jump, that's great. But the reality is you need to know, you need to drive for dollars yourself at some point. You need to, you know, go qualify these jobs on your own. You do need to do some physical work and put in some elbow grease on projects and see how difficult it can be. I think that the more experience you can get on jobs, the better it is that it's going to serve you. As an investor, as an individual, as a human being dealing with other people. Trades are sometimes, you know, real easy, sometimes they're real hard, but at the end of the day, it's all about problem solving and different levels of problem solving and time and commitment. And so just understand that you can't just throw money at problems, so that doesn't solve it either. It's a balance. You gotta find the balance or whatever, right? That's what the analysis is all about. Where do you can you put enough money into a project that it will sell and make money? Like, is that possible? Or in order for you to sell it for X, would you have to put in X and then there's no money left? Because if that's the deal, that's not a deal. But being realistic about where the money's coming from, how you're making the money, where the money's going to, all of those things are really important because that's what being an investor is about, is being able to manage that, right? And manage the guys that are constantly making excuses and complaining, that also. Anyway, problem solving, deal analysis, all of that is vital. And there's not really a lot of gurus and people that are talking about that kind of thing because it's surface level. It's addressed. Oh, that was weird. Big orange top just came flying at me. I wonder if you could see that in the back window when it flew over. Anyway, that's it. That's it. You know, I want people to be successful in this business, and I want them to know exactly where their money's going. You know, how much you're paying your general contractor. I mean, 20%, 10% at the absolute least. 15% is fair, I think, if you have someone that you're working with over and over again. But I don't think that that's something that you should ask of them. If they're charging 20%, let it ride at 20% and see how they do. And if they do an amazing job and blast it all out for you and there's no problems whatsoever and you didn't have to lift a finger, they sent you an email with all the questions about countertops and fixtures and you bloop, 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 clicked it all, showed up, it was done on time, on budget, clean job site, neighbors loved them. Pay them 20%, right? Like just figure into your job is 20%. Anyway, if you need any help, feel free to reach out. My name is Jeff. I am available at reiguideservice.com, reiguideservice.com, the Valhalla Ventures, all the different kinds of social medias. Be blessed, bless others. Have a great day. And for real, have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Send me an email. I try to respond to all my emails every day, Monday through Friday, around 5 o'clock. So if you email me in the morning and you don't get an email back right away, that's why I only do those once a day. Anyway, be blessed, bless others. Have a great day. Waka Waka or something like that. All right, I'm almost to my destination, and I was out of stuff to say, and this video is super long anyway. All right, bye.